Hello, friends. I have a story today. We're going to read Pup and Bear. This is by Kate Banks, and I think you'll really like this. Pup and Bear. Ooh, see something here. Whoosh! When the great gray owl swooped down, screeching, "Hoo, hoo!" the Arctic wolves knew that the big freeze was on its way. They took shelter in a snowdrift, and they listened to the fierce wind holler and roar. They watched the snow blow in spirals, wrapping the world in a fluffy white coat. Looks like they're getting all tucked in. But then the wind's bitter cold breath turned warm, and the sun appeared, and the big melt came, and one lone pup found itself on a sheet of ice, spinning out to sea. I see one pup here, but see one here left behind? A little floating piece of ice. The pup slid into the water. He swam and he swam, and when he reached land, he burrowed into a snowbank. He was tired, and he wanted his mother. The pup closed his eyes and fell asleep, listening to the throb of silence across the still landscape. He woke to the feel of a cold nose against his fur. The smell was familiar. It was a polar bear. "You are not my mother," said the pup, flattening his ears against his head. "I am not your mother," said the polar bear, "but I can cuddle you and keep you safe." The pup was shy and frightened. "Aren't you going to eat me?" he asked. "Polar bears eat wolves." "Oh, not this one," said the polar bear, shaking her head. "Climb on my back, and I will take you to my den." So this mother polar bear, she knows it's a baby, huh? She's a good mother. The pup stretched a paw forward cautiously, and then he climbed onto the polar bear's back, and they crossed the tundra under the watchful eyes of a trio of baby puffins learning to fly. See these cute little birds over here? Puffins? Back at the den, the polar bear licked and cleaned the pup. "I am not your mother," she said, "but I can feed you and keep you warm." And then the next day they set off across the wintry tundra. She is taking good care of that little baby wolf. When they spotted a walrus with long, sharp tusks, the polar bear bellowed and chuffed. She's going to say, "You stay away from this baby." "Where are we going?" asked the pup as they neared the water. "I am not your mother," said the polar bear, "but I can show you where to catch a fish." They passed a snow goose perched on a nest of eggs, and they sniffed the trail of a seal as he tried to outsmart them. And they stopped at the water's edge, where the fish and the lemmings came and went in the wondrous wheel of life. The sun shone down upon the crisp, crackling snow, and the polar bear rolled in a snowbank. "Come on," she said to the pup. "I am not your mother, but I can play with you." But when the pup tugged too hard at the polar bear's fur, the bear growled. "I am not your mother, but I can scold you," she said, and then she nuzzled the pup and tickled his tummy. Tired at last, the pup curled up against the bear, and they napped, listening to the wind whimper and sigh. Do you think they're going to live together? Always? The earth turned round and round, and the big freeze came, followed by the big melt, until at last the polar bear nudged the wolf, who wasn't a pup any longer. "I am not your mother," she said, "but I know it's time for you to go." And she nuzzled the wolf one last time, and the wolf nuzzled her back. And then he walked out into the wide world. You see, she's telling him it's time. It's time for him to go find other wolves, try and find other wolves to learn with and run with. The wolf howled to the midnight sun, which glowed on the horizon, where the day ended and the night began, and he was answered by the cry of another wolf. Soon he was leading his own pack across the frozen tundra. Then one day the wolf came upon a polar bear cub, huddled in a snowdrift. "Where is your mother?" asked the wolf, but the cub didn't know. The wolf sniffed the cub and rubbed its fur with a wet nose. "You are not my mother," said the cub, cowering. "I am not your mother, but I can cuddle you and keep you warm." Who does that sound like? "Aren't you going to eat me?" asked the cub. "Wolves eat polar bears." "Not this one," said the wolf, shaking its head. "Climb on my back, and I will take you to my den." The polar bear clambered on the wolf's back. "I am not your mother," said the wolf, "but you can stay with me until you're big enough to be on your own." That sounds like the same story. And the wolf led the pack back across the tundra, along the path that went round and round in the wondrous wheel of life. There he is. There's the polar bears. I think the baby found his family and found where he belongs. I think that says that mothers everywhere, all kinds of mothers, know when there's a little tiny one that needs help and needs someone to take care of them. Doesn't matter if it's your own baby or someone else's baby, but little tiny ones, they need people to care for them and care about them and help them so they can be safe and feel loved. So sometimes it's not always your own mother, but someone else who can take care of you and love you very much. So we are grateful for people who have hearts like that. I saw sometimes it's not even a mother. Sometimes it's a father. The wolf was a big male wolf, and he took care of the baby polar bear. So all kinds of things that care for the little helpless little ones in our world, animals and people. So I hope you liked that. I will see you soon in the library, and we'll get some great books then. Bye-bye.